Hello, I'm Amaia Quintana, and in the following presentation, I'm gonna try to explain how we have developed a case study at the University of the Basque Country with pre-service early childhood education teachers as designers of maker-centered learning experiences in order to foster global engagement. So I need to start by introducing a little bit what maker education and maker spaces are in order to understand better what we will be talking about. So to begin with, maker spaces are global and technological learning spaces, where students, teachers, and all the agents that are there can foster experimentation, design, creation with physical, digital, or a combination of both physical and digital materials. Collaboration and new learning dynamics are used to design collective projects, and this scenario fosters the exploration of innovative ways of teaching and learning. So it's basically linked to innovation. Learners gain different skills by experimenting, playing, and using technology. And technology and active methodologies are at the core elements. So our case study focuses, as I said before, on early childhood education teachers that are pre-service teachers at the University of the Basque Country in the trilingual. They are studying in the trilingual format. So this study was done in English. The aim was to design innovative maker-centered teaching and learning plans that target early childhood education students. So they had to do the design for early childhood students, but they just did the design and they presented their design to the rest of the classmates, but they didn't have the chance to execute it in an early childhood classroom. So it was done everything at the maker space of our faculty. And then regarding the topics that they had to address, they had to choose at least one of the 17 SDG goals and do their planning according to that theme. If we have a look at the pedagogical aspect, the main idea will be to create the best learning outcomes where students can or should acquire 21st century skills such as creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, communication, and the place where this experience took was at the makerspace. Regarding the potential areas, early childhood pre-service teachers were trained and they just learned how it could be possibly implemented the maker methodological approach. Digitalization and proper ICT implementation was also tackled. They had the chance to experience and work with some maker tools and foster innovative practices. On the other hand, they also addressed the 2030 agenda through these SDG goals. And then they also had the chance to get the training, experiment, have dialogue, and design their project afterwards. So I think that basically they were, regarding the training, they were trained in the maker methodological approach theoretically. They got some guidelines, and then also they learned how to plan effectively according to that type of methodology. And then they also had the chance to experiment with the tools that are found in the Maker Lab. And afterwards, the design was created. In order to instruct them, we used sites that later on served as a reference. Some of them, as you will see later on in the outcomes, they decided to use and reproduce as sites in order to present their teaching and learning plan and to get all the documentation there and all the tasks. So as a repository of the materials. So here you can visualize better how this process was divided into different phases. We have an initial phase here that will be to gather all the participants in a makerspace. We explained the main tasks, like the objectives. We trained them in the maker methodological approach. We also trained them in the SDG goals because we saw that there was a big need of addressing these SDG goals, because some of them knew nothing or knew very little about them, so they need to also get familiarized with it in order to then choose the one that they wanted to do their teaching and learning plan accordingly. And then we created the teams randomly. The teams were formed randomly, and the students were in groups of 4 or 5 at the most. In the second phase, they became expert in one field. I'm going to show you the next slide in order to show you which are some of the tools that can be found in our maker space at the Faculty of the Basque Country. So they were trained on all of them. And as you can see, some of them are more focused on maybe primary education students or secondary education, but we train them in all of them. We show them what we have, and then they decided which ones were more suitable to work with in early childhood education, and they experimented with those. As you can see, in the third phase, then they created the lesson plan using several ICT tools and applications as well. And finally, in the fourth phase, they had to present to the rest of the classmates what they had done. So it was a way of instructing and adopting the role of teachers and instructing the rest of the classmates in what they had done. In this fourth phase, I need to mention that by not working on the same tools and on the same materials, we just got the benefit of getting new knowledge and not repeating the same thing once and again when doing the presentation. So we played with this innovative and unexpected part of the project. Okay. And then regarding the design, we can see here we provided them with a template in which they had on the left column some of the themes, some examples of the SDGs. Then regarding the maker methodology, they had, we divided that methodology into 3 phases, and they had all there documented. Then the ICT tools and the applications that they could use were also there. We instructed them in, like, for example, in the case of how to gamify the sessions, or creating digital educational escape rooms or Scratch. Maybe they weren't so familiar with those aspects, so we trained them as well. Then they had here the considerations of the 4 C's, and apart from that, the 21st century skills were mentioned in this column. And finally, the extension. Sometimes they didn't know how to end up, or which was going to be the final product, or which could be an extension of what they had designed. So here we gave them just some possibilities or ideas in order to help them design in their designs. And finally, I would like to present you some of the outcomes of what they had done. In the fourth phase, this corresponds to the fourth phase, where some of the group mates opted for creating a sites or a presentation or a slide share. And then some of the activities examples are here, such as some Scratch videos or Voki avatars. They used some avatars to present their lesson plans. And then they also created some digital educational escape rooms, which combined both the digital part and then doing some hands-on activities, so maker activities. And here are some of the examples that you can visualize better. We have a Bibot here, the ticket panels that can be found there, the Matata Lab robot here regarding the healthy food and the shopping market. And then you can also see that other activities such as the recycled musical instruments or recreating the ocean were done by using not only ICT tools, but also using some physical materials. And finally, here I have an illustration of a Padlet, because we created a Padlet for all of them, in which they could upload their final productions, so that after doing the presentations, they could have all the materials there. So apart from handing in a Google Docs or a PDF document where they had to specify all the competences and all the steps of their teaching and learning plan, they also included some of the illustrations and videos of what they had done, so that the pre-service teachers had the chance to obtain from there all the information that was explained in that final phase. And well, we can see that through Maker Education, new possibilities and innovative ways of designing the sessions can be achieved. So this will be linked to meaningful learning, teaching and learning. When teachers adopt the role of designers, they have the chance to do something that is beneficial for them, or that is at least interesting for them. And here we can see inside the green rectangle some of the words of the pre-service teachers, such as um, an amazing experience, or the concepts and applications that were learned will forever stay and remember. So somehow they just mentioned most of the benefits of this type of design in the sessions. And then also they address their willingness to continue with this type of experimentation and exploring, to embrace new ideas, to give an answer to these new society's requirements, and how to adapt and design these technopedagogical plans and teaching and learning plans. And also they were a little bit worried about the students' engagement, so they said that through working through Maker Education could give an answer to and foster this motivation towards learning, towards the learning process. So I will just like to finish this presentation by mentioning what Smith et al. Mentioned, by saying that ICT's teaching training should not only be focused on the introduction of theoretical aspects and knowledge of new technological tools, but also it should provide opportunities for experimentation, development of new learning styles. Yes, so in the future, the future lines could be to research which is the potentiality that maker spaces have at higher education and in the initial teacher training. So these are some of the references that have been used to create this presentation. And I would like to finish by thanking you and by saying that if you have any questions, you could always email me in amaya.quintana@ehu.eus. Thank you so much for your attention, and bye.